So for the Trust, we set out to work with women's networks. And that meant creating networks from scratch where they didn't exist. So for example, our Women in Finance network, which is called New Faces, New Voices. That was a network that that the Trust conceived of and brought to life. And now it has a presence in 17 countries around the continent and is playing a really critical role in advancing women's financial inclusion. But we also have work with existing networks. Our network of African business women works with women's business associations. And some of those associations can be huge in number. We did a mapping exercise where we found that the average membership was around 8,000, ranged from 8,000 members to as many as 250,000. So that's a huge network already. And if one can mobilize and work with and strengthen those kinds of networks, it could make a huge difference in terms of driving a lot of advocacy issues and also making sure that women's issues are front and center, that they're not sidelined or marginalized. We also have a network of women in agribusiness, which is called African Women in Agribusiness, because we believe that women play a critical role in agriculture. They produce the majority of the food that we eat, and yet a lot of them are still at the subsistence level, and we want to see women really operating at the higher end of the value chain in agriculture. Our newest network is our Women in Media network, which is comprised of 35 journalists from 15 countries. And through that network, we're really looking at, how do we change the narrative around how women are depicted in the media? How do we bring about more empowering stories, or even just more balanced and nuanced stories? So through all of these networks, the Trust is really in the process of building a movement and has been really engaged in building a movement over many years. And this movement now has a presence in many countries in all 5 regions of Africa. And we're beginning to see, synergies between the networks. We're beginning to see cross collaborations. We're beginning to see people working at a country level to develop strategies, but also looking at a sub-regional level and regionally. So our nutrition network, for example, has been working with alliances in 3 countries and is now looking at how to take that nutrition work to a regional level. So networks for us are a critical way of really amplifying and scaling, and also just harnessing the power of individuals who all have a similar objective and who all want to work towards a similar goal.